One of the reasons why this is a very popular place is because you're looking directly at the old town. Yes. Look at this. And see the cave over there. Cool. Lapad Beach, which is one of the most visited in Dubrovnik. Normally you would have to go up, but you know, exploring a bit is our middle name. A classic burger was 30 euro. I hope that is with a large portion of fries, and I hope the burger is big. Otherwise, that's just robbery at daylight. So now we're going to show you another beach, which is not far from the old town. Super popular, south of the old town. So we're going to go down here because, to see there's some really good views. And of course, there's a beach club down here. You can visit. So you can go down from this side or from the other end of the beach. There's also a way to get down, but I wanted to go over here. And you see a little bit sand. And of course, everything on the beach bar, deck chairs and everything, you have to pay for it. I'm gonna figure out the prices, but I think it's relatively expensive. But as you can see down in the other end, everybody's lying on a towel, so you can just do that. One of the reasons why this is a very popular place is because you're looking directly at the old town. And it looks to be, you know, a bit of sand, a bit of pebble mixed when you go into the water. And quite popular. I think this was, from all the beaches in Dubrovnik, third or fourth most popular of all of them. And you can see now we are in end of May. If this is the amount of people you find at this time of the year, you can imagine how it's going to be when we get to July. Packed. Good. Let's continue to the next beach. So another beach I wanted to show you, which is actually, you can say it's the closest one to the old town. It's here. There's a public beach area where you can go swimming, and you can actually, the rocks you see over behind, people also crawl over there and jump from these ones. So if you are walking the old streets of the Dubrovnik old town and you think now it's time for a dip, this is probably the easiest place you can go. There's another one around the wall which I'm also going to show you. Definitely an option, this one. So, as I announced earlier, I told you when we visited the other beach or swimming area near the fortress St.Ivan, I told you there's another place you can swim at the wall, and that's where we are now. We are at the Buža bar, which is basically you walk along the southern part of the wall, and then there's an exit where you go through the wall, and you end up at this bar where you can buy drinks up there. But of course, this is also a swimming place. People lie around here. You see, you have so you can get out of the water, and a lot of people go over on this cliff, take a jump, and enjoy the refreshing water. But today, although there was a lot of people when we were here yesterday were swimming, today it seems like they're a bit too, it's the scared people we have here today. Yeah. You jumped, yeah, but maybe we filmed you. We filmed someone yesterday.
But then when I jumped from there, the sun just went behind the castle.
Yeah.
And it got very, very, very cold.
No, I know the drill, yeah. So we are still missing a month before the temperature is going to be super nice, and you don't have to worry about that. But it's early in the season. We actually had, till a week ago, we had had a horrible weather, and May in general was not very good.
But this week it's finally...
Yeah, so now it ramps up everywhere, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no. So it's great to see the sun again. And another very popular thing around Dubrovnik is the kayaks. And you can rent them several places in the old port area where we were. There's a beach area to the left. Just look for the colorful kayaks and go there, and then you can rent one. But there's also on the other side of the palace, I think there's the main point for renting out kayaks. We're gonna probably have a footage from that a little bit later. So now we are heading to another beach, which is near Old Town Dubrovnik. This one is just very near the Pile Gate, the main entrance to the old town. A little bit west of that. So let's see if we can find it. This is, by the way, as you can see up here, the way you go to get to the fortress. And total King's Landing vibe here. I mean, probably people also swim here, but that was not the beach I wanted to show you. It's on the other side of the St. Lawrence. Maybe we can see it from here. Very small beach, but nicely made with bars around here. And as I said, very close to the old town. So usually well visited, especially by young people. But it's a bit big pebble you have here. So definitely water shoes, I would say, or go to the concrete and then jump in from over there. And the good thing is also here you don't have it full with deck chairs, so it seems less commercialized like some of the other ones. Cool. Let's head on. Now we need to catch a bus to get out to some of the other beaches, because we now covered all the beaches around the old town. The ones which you can basically walk to when you live in the old town. The other beaches, you need to go by bus or take a Uber or something to get out to them. But, we're gonna find them. We're gonna take a bus. We're gonna take a bus here from Pile Gate, which is one of the central hubs for city buses. We just need to buy a ticket. You can of course buy it on the bus, but it's cheaper here. So we might as well get it here. So that was an interesting bus ride, completely full bus. We made it. Voila. So this is basically the end of the main pedestrian walkway in Lapad. And here you find Lapad Beach, which is one of the most visited in Dubrovnik, of course, because you have hotels in the area and stuff, so kind of obvious. And as you can see, this one is not full with deck chairs or anything like that. It's just a regular beach. You bring your towel and go swimming. Yeah, and it's a pebble beach, so bring water shoes, or you can also buy them here near the beach. Not a problem if you forgot someone. So that's basically how it looks here. We're gonna go around, see if we can find some more beaches. Now we are walking out to another beach, but if you checked out our YouTube channel or saw our website, we also explored all the beaches in Split, on Island Var, Mandrač, Sadar, and have, of course, videos about the places, but we also have a full article on the website where you find out the details, what type of beach, pebble, sand, any other information, if there's rental of deck chairs, good for kids, not good for kids, all these kind of things you find on the website, so please check it out. No, but the pebble actually looks okay. It's quite fine, so you can maybe even do without water shoes. Otherwise, go here on the concrete. You can jump in the water. You don't have to worry about any water shoes. You have easy access, eller option to get out of the water, so pretty easy. I'm just checking, do we see any sea urchins here? Right now we are staying yes, there's sea urchins here. See, they are there. So water is clean, super clean. So now we're going to another beach in Dubrovnik, and this one is a little bit harder to reach, but we decided you deserve to see how it looks like, so we're gonna see if we can find it. The beach is called Bellevue, and as you will notice, it requires going down and later up a lot of stairs. And here next to it you have the Hotel Rixos, which looks pretty nice, I would say. And here we don't want to fall down. Pass at your own risk, okay? Yes, yes, yes. Look at this. And see the cave over there. Cool. So you can swim out over to the cave. And there's actually a stair, so you can come from the other side also. It's just in front of you. It seems that he's the guardian of the beach. I don't know what this one is supposed to be, but I think there's been some water polo playing. Let's go over and see the coffee bar. Those we have seen in Dubrovnik now, this one really ranks high, I would say, on my list. I would even say this is the one I like the most, except for all the stairs. And the entry seems to be small pebble. And I love this with a cave over there, that you can actually go swim to the cave. And we're gonna have a look up here. So definitely you can rent the shalke or deck chairs. Not sure what the price is here, but really happy with this beach. Bellevue beach, Dubrovnik, and over there is the cave. So definitely one to consider. But there was no information about prices for the deck chairs here, and I also don't know why this is not open. Seems to be, maybe it's some hotel up there. This belongs to the hotel. No idea about that, but I'll try to figure it out. And as usual, we will put all information we can find about these beaches on our website, so you can just check that one out if you want to be well prepared. But really love this beach. Man, it looks good. We're gonna go out at the end of the peninsula Babin Kuk. Around the end of the peninsula there's a lot of hotels, but that's also where you find a lot of the beaches. One of them should apparently be the most popular in Dubrovnik. We're gonna check it out if it's justified, but this one I definitely love. Anyway, we are not gonna film the suffering we're gonna have when we walk up from the beach, but I will let you know later if it was a comfortable walk. Thanks. So now we came out to the end of the peninsula Babin Kuk, where all the hotels are. And we're going to explore all the beaches out here, but just to follow up on the last beach we visited, Bellevue. It was not that bad getting up the stairs, so definitely recommendation from here. Bellevue was an awesome beach. Now we are in front of Hotel President, and we're going to check out the beach there. And as I've mentioned in some of our other videos, in Croatia there's no private beaches, So even though the beach is located in front of a hotel, you basically are allowed to use the beach. There can be some restriction in access from some roads, but in general, they cannot forbid you being on the beach. So if you think, you know, some kind of beach in front of a hotel is where you want to spend your day, they cannot do anything about that. That's simply the law. So here's a small pebble part at the beginning, and you have a larger concrete plateau, but water looks also very inviting here. And now we are of course on the other side of Dubrovnik, so we are looking through towards the Elefati Islands. And I think now we are getting to the main beach area in front of Hotel President. Looks to be a pebble beach. Really nice. And of course, deck chairs, probably for the guests of the hotel. We will check out later if it's something which can be rented for any guest coming here, but otherwise, just bring your towel, put it on the beach, and go for a swim. But before we continue, we have a coffee bar over here to investigate, because we're gonna go about 2 kilometers along the coast to check all the other beaches. So to be sure that we have energy enough, we might get an extra morning coffee before we continue. So see you in a bit. Already in half an hour, a lot more people showed up. And probably have a lot of boat traffic all the time, because ferries and stuff all pass by here. Yeah, that's basically the end of it. As soon as you get here, there's a little bit pebble here, and then rocks come. But looks great. Really nice beach. We're gonna go, we have to get back up to the road. As you saw the rocks here, we can't crawl that way around, and then we're gonna see if we can find the next beach. So let's keep moving. So we managed to get up to the path where we're going to continue, and as you can see on the sign, Coral Beach and Copacabana Beach is the direction we're going. But really nice hotel and really nice beach in front of Hotel President. Oh, look up here. Valdemar Argosi Hotel looks pretty inviting. No, the problem is if you end up in a hotel like that, you're not gonna, have the urgency to go and visit some stuff. You're just gonna relax, enjoy the pool, maybe a small cocktail or two. Of course, alcohol free, but the option is there. No, but this was what I read about these beaches. Parking is around 1 kilometer away. That's basically where we parked. Next to Hotel President. There's a public parking, really cheap, €1.20 an hour, which is for Dubrovnik. It's like practically free, yeah. Man, this looks good. Holy smokes. Wow. See, the stairs are here. Very nice beach. Definitely interesting. Cashless beach. Yeah, I read that. So you get some kind of bracelet, wristband, and then you basically Looks nice. A lot of people here. Should we go out here? Definitely looks to be a nice place. So you have all these deck chairs and everything, but out here you can actually come with your towel. Okay, that's what I call a chair. So it seems everything is this. There's no Cava beach at all. This was where we came from upstairs. There's a little bit place over there you can go, but that's it. Okay, but looks pretty nice. Yeah, but from what I've read, it's a pretty expensive place. But of course, it also looks fantastic and seems very popular. We can maybe go this way, other way. Normally you would have to go up, but you know, exploring a bit is our middle name. As long as this is not wet, I think it's okay. Yeah, normally you go up on the road and then you return down here. So the next beach we're gonna get to is Copacabana. And according to the number of reviews, it's the most reviewed beach in Dubrovnik. So let's see if there's a reason for that. Copacabana. It seems you actually can go down here with a car. Deck chairs out there, some double ones. And this is nice, huh? Some old stone house they made into the bar area. Two deck chairs and a umbrella, or was 45 for a whole day. I think on Coral Beach I read there was 70 euro. But another Pebble Beach, not sure which one looks the better. I mean, the coral was really special. So this seems more for families with kids, I would say. And now you have a big area where you can just go with your towel, which of course makes it way cheaper to visit the beach. I mean, there was really not much space as at the Coral Beach for you bring your towel here. It's plenty of options. Which kind of makes sense. Also the size of the beach, which is why it's the most reviewed beach, because probably it's where you have the most people going in the summer season. And easy access with the car also, I see. That of course also makes it way more attractive for more people. And a nice coffee bar. Okay, that was a bit steep. A burger at that place, a classic burger, was 30 euro. 30 euros for a burger. I hope that is with a large portion of fries, and I hope the burger is big. Otherwise, that's just robbery at daylight. So this was Copacabana. We're gonna go back up to the road and see you in a bit when we are closer to the next beach. So now we are on the way to Mandrač beach. And you can of course also come to it from the other direction, but because we walk from beach to beach, This is basically the way to go. You definitely need that when you've been out in the sun. You need a bit of shade. Of course, if you want private places, you can just find some place around the rocks. Probably you're not going to compete with that many people, but accessing the water might be less easy. Beach bar Pornat. Seems like they're not ready to operate, although summer started, so a bit strange, but pretty cool place. That would be a fantastic place, yeah, sitting in the shade, having maybe a small drink. So this is the beach Mandrač, which is the last beach we're gonna explore in Dubrovnik. So let's go down to the end and see how it looks like. So here the bedding a bit rocks, but you can actually go in the water, especially if you have water shoes. But I think the main part of the beach up here is definitely easier. I see. Beach is still pebble, but the bigger ones. So definitely I would wear water shoes here. But water looks nice. So I'm sure you can go swimming here. And you see the bridge, the entrance to Dubrovnik behind us, but really nice. And they even have a lifeguard here. I didn't see that on any of the other beaches. And if you look down there, you can see the other beaches. Down there, Copacabana, and behind that one we had the Coral Beach Club. This was the last beach we're gonna visit in Dubrovnik. We visited more than 10 beaches, as you can see, as you saw in the video. Hope you liked them. I don't know which one you think is the best. We're gonna rate them on our website. We're gonna provide you all the additional information you need to know before going to the different beaches. So stay tuned till the next one.